What up, YouTube? Team Movies here. Now, this is my Getting Out of segment video where I talk about the films that turned 10 and 20 this week. And, boy, it is insane about how much, how old these films are. Anyway, that being said, here are the films that turned 10 years old this week. Alright. One film turning 10 is the Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth film, The Last Song, based on the book by Nicholas Sparks. And I thought The Last Song was pretty decent. Obviously, the best Nicholas Sparks adaptation is, of course, The Notebook. But The Last Song was a film that, of course, introduced the relationship between Cyrus and Hemsworth. And I thought, and you also had Greg Kinnear was in this. It is a very tearjerker film. Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth both had really decent chemistry in this. You know, it's part romance, part music. I thought it was pretty solid and not a great film, but I thought it was pretty decent. Alright. Now, other films turning 10, we got Leaves of Grass, directed by Tim Blake Nelson, starring Ed Norton as this Ivy League professor who returns home where his pot-growing twin brother has concerted a plan to take down a local drug lord. The film also stars Nelson along with Kerry Russell, Susan Sarandon, Richard Dreyfuss, and Ty Burrell. This was pretty cool. I mean, Tim Blake Nelson is probably one of the most underrated performer there is. He's of course best known for Holes. He's been in The Incredible Hulk. He was in that Ballad of Buster Scruggs film on Netflix. Tim Blake Nelson is just the man, and he did a pretty good job with this film. He did a great job at directing. Ed Norton was great. I mean, if you guys never really seen Leaves of Grass, go check it out. It's a pretty funny, dark comedy, very underrated show. Alright. Now, another film turning 10 is another film with that features Susan Sarandon, Tyler the Greatest, which stars the likes of Pierce Brosnan, the aforementioned Sarandon, Carey Mulligan, Micah Shannon, Aaron Taylor Johnson, who of course went on to star in Nocturnal Animals together. And it follows this couple played by Brosnan and Sarandon, who ends up feeling the loss of their son. Ends up passing. So they are a grief-stricken couple whose family has been pushed to the breaking point by the death of their older son Ben in a car crash. So when a young woman named Rose shows up a few months later announcing that she is pregnant with Ben's child, the viewers are forced to take her in. And it's actually pretty decent. Susan Sarandon and Pierce Brosnan are both good in this. Carey Mulligan is she's dynamite. Not a bad little film. Alright, last but not least, another film turning 10. We got Why Did I Get Married To? The sequel to 2007's Tyler Perry film, Why Did I Get Married? Now, the first film was okay. The sequel, which featured the likes of Janet Jackson, you had Michael Jai White, you also had Jill Scott. The sequels, even Dwayne Johnson actually had a bit of a cameo in this. But Why Did I Get Married To is pretty bad. I mean, probably one of Tyler Perry's not so good films. The first film was decent, but the sequel, yeah, we don't really talk about the sequel so much. I mean, I adore Janet Jackson, but her acting's not really... She's a great singer, but her acting's not really all that top-notch, But, yeah. I mean, between this, Night Prostitute, The Clumps, yeah, like I said, I love Janet Jackson. She's a great singer. She's good-looking, obviously, but I was never big with her acting. But anyway. Alright. Now, the film's turning 20 this week. We got the film High Fidelity, based on the Nick Hornsby novel. And funny enough is they also on Hulu. There's a TV version of it with Zoe Kravitz. Which, by the way, funny enough that it's kind of funny that Zoe Kravitz is in the TV version because her mother, Lisa Benoit, is actually featured in the film version. So I kind of find that a little funny. Anyway, this is also part music. Like, it's not music or anything, but it is like a love letter to 80s classic music. I mean, heck, Bruce Springsteen even has a little cameo in this. You also had the likes of John Cusack. You had Jack Black, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Drake Bell's even in this. Joan Cusack, Sarah Gilbert, some really good cast members. If you guys haven't really seen the High Fidelity movie, go check that one out. It's a really terrific film. Alright, also 2010, we got The Road of El Dorado, which is kind of a very underrated film from DreamWorks Animation. Like, DreamWorks really came on this, they've done stuff before Shrek, like, of course they did Ants before Shrek, but it was really Shrek that really put that company on the map. But The Road of El Dorado, I always mispronounced the last name, but The Road of El Dorado, it's been a while since I've seen this film. But it's actually, I've always found it to be pretty cute and fun. You got the great voice cast. You got the likes of Kevin Kline, Kenneth Branagh, Rosie Perez is in this. You had Elton John, Edward James Olmos, some really great, talented voice casts. Armin Assad is also in this. So if you guys haven't really seen the Road of El Dorado, definitely go check that one out. Alright, now last film that turns 20 this week, we got The Skulls. Directed by Rob Cohen, who a year later gave us his Fast and Furious film. The Skull is pretty bad. I mean, it stars the likes of Paul Walker. You also had Joshua Jackson, Hill Harper, Craig T. Nelson. This movie is pretty awful. It takes place with the deep within the hollow walls of Ivy League's campus, and it exists a secret society where power and elite are bred, and only a few are chosen to join, where presidents are groomed and all. And so Luke McNamara, played by Joshua Jackson, gets an invitation to join the prestigious secret college organization, and the Skulls, until Murr befalls another student. Yeah, the Skulls, they also did a few sequels, which are not even as, the sequels are horrible. But the first Skull, of course, it was a film that, of course, Rob Cohen directed Paul Walker in this, and then like a year later, he directed Paul Walker in the Fast and Furious film. Which, by the way, the first Fast and Furious turns 20 next year. Let's get that out of the way. But anyway, as I was saying, The Skulls, yes, it's kind of even worse. Like, Bone Collector is a better film, but The Skull is just, it's not really like it. I mean, you even had Leslie Bibb was in this. It gets pretty predictable, so yeah. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Which of these films stand out to you the most? Like, out of the 10-year one, my favorite one is probably The Last Song. I really like The Last Song more than most people did. I do appreciate Miley Cyrus once in a while, so that's it. But I really got a kick out of The Last Song. But my favorite films out of the 20-year one obviously belongs to High Fidelity. High Fidelity is just terrific. So, yeah, my favorite film out of the 10-year one is Last Song, and my favorite out of the 20-year one is High Fidelity. Let me leave you guys. Which of these films stand out to you the most? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This is Tim Movie signing off.